We are live and we are recording. So recording is in progress. Welcome everybody to our 154th meeting. Could you believe it? 154 meetings after this one will be under our belt. Today is May 3rd. And just remember, everything you hear today on our current event show is an opinion. So welcome everybody. So before we get started on the topics that I wanted to cover with our current event show, how's everybody doing and who wants to say something?
We missed it by one day, Jan.
What was one day? What did we miss?
Star Wars Day tomorrow.
Oh, may the 4th be with you. That's right.
So
We also have the 5th as well. Unfortunately, I can't hear what he was saying. He's calling from the car, I believe. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit rough audio, but it's better rough than none at all. So, Dave, why don't you say what you want to say? Okay, be that way. Be quiet. All right, it's all right.
There he is.
Anyway, oh, there he is.
Unmute him.
All right, I'll unmute him just because of this time. There you go, Dave. I've unmuted you. Talk. Drive where you are. I'll take care of the muting and the unmuting for you.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes. We're not doing commercials for T-Mobile. Go ahead.
I just got out of a Diana Ross concert.
In the middle of the day, what was it, a concert for geriatrics?
There was a concert for corporate.
Right, you were doing the Milken show. So did you get any hot tips? Are you now a multimillionaire from that? Are you running home now to buy stock?
I've already done it overnight. As soon as I found out.
Very good.
I didn't learn a thing. Nothing was there. There was a whole lot of nothing.
Well, let me tell you what actually happens, and you're probably right. A lot of people really don't want to talk about things in public. However, behind the doors and in the private meetings, all of these power players were talking about each other and what to do. By the way, there is a stock coming up. If you guys like beginnings of stocks. Now, I don't pretend to be an expert in stock. As a matter of fact, most of the stocks that I own are in the toilet right now, and they've never made any money whatsoever, except for Apple. Apple has done really well, but there is going to be a new issue of a stock from Johnson & Johnson that's going to come in, and it's opening this, I don't know if you call it an opening or whatever, but it's called Kenvue. It's an IPO from Johnson & Johnson, and I'm really looking into that to see if I buy a couple of shares of that. It's going to be very inexpensive compared to Johnson & Johnson. But I don't give stock advice, and everything you hear today is an opinion. So, in my opinion, what can I tell you?
Don't put too much stock in that then.
I wouldn't put any stock in that, as a matter of fact, if I was you. If I bought, my biggest holding is Petrobras, which I bought at about 80, and today I think it just went below 10. So, don't take my advice on stock. That's for sure, Anyway, so we got a bunch of things to talk about. We're going to be talking about AI. We're going to be talking about what happened in Utah, which is kind of cool. It has to do with Pornhub, believe it or not. We're also going to be talking about oceans and Twitter and Fox and what's going on. So the Ukraine war. Did you guys see what happened? The Russians are blaming Ukraine now for attacking the Kremlin. Did you guys see that video running all over TV?
Sure.
And of course the Ukrainians are denying it, and and there's no proof that it really happened, and they're saying that Putin doesn't really live in the Kremlin, and all this stuff. But we'll never know the truth on that. But man, if I was the Ukrainians, I wouldn't think that's a bad idea to try to knock off the head of my enemy. Who's trying to ruin my country, who is ruining my country.
The only thing that's a bad idea is admitting to it.
Yeah, it's I guess that would be correct. I guess that would be correct. But anyway, everybody is denying it, and so there you have it. But I thought it was kind of interesting what happened in the news today. But they're saying that the Russians have lost 100,000 men. Did you guys hear that? That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And the fighting is just about to begin again. So, I mean, I really wish I meet Ukrainians and Russians here, and believe it or not, they're not fighting with each other here in Thailand. They're loving and peaceful, and the Russians that were belligerent seem to be very, very mellow these days. Very mellow. I guess it could be because they're trying to blend in and hide, because if they get forced to going back, they're going to have to go fight in the war, and they don't want to. I remember the Vietnamese, but I didn't leave the country. I did the stupider thing. I enlisted in the National Guard, so that was, So I should have went to Canada, and I could have met Neil Young and Joni Mitchell. Could have met all those people. Damn. All right. All the guys from Second City. But I fought on Park Avenue. That's it. That was my station, Park Avenue in New York City.
You're from New York. So the A is on the wrong end of the sentence for you to be a Canadian.
A, yep, that's right. So anyway, we were talking about other things. So Pornhub, of all things, the state of Utah, I don't know if you guys heard this, but the state of Utah said they passed the law, and now it's official, that if you go on to Pornhub in the state of Utah, you have to show them picture ID. You have to every time you log in, you have to submit a picture ID of a license or of government issued proof of identity. And Pornhub decided that, well, I'm going to block Utah. We're not going to go when, it's really unjustified that to go onto a website, any website, that you would have to show every time you log in your government ID. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I feel that would be a horrible thing for people to do that,
Of course.
So I said, there's got to be some humor here. And so I went to artificial intelligence and I typed in, I said, hey, write me a joke about this. And this happened just before the writers went on strike, by the way. So this material was written before the writers of Hollywood are on strike. And David, I want you to talk about that in a minute. But listen to the joke they came up with, and I thought it was kind of clever. All right. So basically, and here's the joke. Why did Pornhub block Utah? Because they realized the only kind of missionary position that Utah approves is of the religious kind. I thought it was funny. I guess, what the? Oh, well.
Yeah, tell us not to give up a state job.
Yeah. So what's going on with the writer's strike? What's the inside scoop?
Everybody's out of work. Nothing's going on. And hopefully it gets settled, because it's going to cost billions of dollars.
Yeah, last time they went on strike, I remember it cost, they say it cost like $200 billion or something like that. And went on for 100 days. It was like very expensive.
So here's one way to look at this. Same they had the writer's strike. It went on for, like you said, months. And what happened? Reality TV happened, because nobody was writing scripts. And reality TV took over, never went away. And I think that's what's going to happen with this one. If it lasts a long time, AI is going to start writing scripts. And that's it. These people can't win.
Well, it's possible, but do you know that you cannot copyright artificial intelligence text? Or, so basically, because it's not written by a human being, there's no protection.
Yeah, but they're talking about a TV show, which is acted by.
Yeah, I know, but basically the writers get protection. You could copyright the material. This way, you cannot copyright any material that's created by artificial intelligence, because it's not written by a human being. And copyright laws only happen to protect human beings.
Right, so that makes it cheaper, which means the producers don't have to pay.
And the AI information that they write is taken from other contexts. So it actually has infringements on other people's work.
Well, the challenge is this: there's only so many words in the English language. And I'll give you an example. Right now, Ed Sheeran is being sued by the relatives of, what is it, Marvin Gaye? Am I right on that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
It's ridiculous.
And the reality is there are only 8 notes in music. I mean, and when you look at it, the breakdown about how it was written, with the quarter notes, the half notes, the tempo, the choruses, yeah, there is some similarity. But all music has some similarity because you could basically 4 major chord patterns.
Yeah. And basically, they went and seen Ed in concert. And when he did a mashup with Marvin's song, they said that, they realized that he stole it from him.
Yeah.
When in actuality, it's just a mash. He just did it because he said it sounded good with it, but he didn't even.
I guarantee you, if he was alive, they wouldn't be suing. It's just the relatives who are greedy, just like what happened with Spirit and Led Zeppelin in that lawsuit for what's the name of that thing? Stairway to Heaven. It's like Norman would never have sued Led Zeppelin, but it was the relatives who are greedy. The relatives, it's all about money, man. When it comes down to lawsuits, it's really all about the money. That's what it is,
All
At least
relative.
that's my opinion on that. What do you guys think?
All relative.
It's all relative.
Well, I agree with that. Everything is relative when it comes to that, and especially as I always used to say, and my friend Tony from the Rainbow, he would always say, wherever there's a will, there's always relatives, so to turn that around, that's the truth. Anyway, so speaking of censorship and stuff, Fox fired Tucker Carlson, right? And so people were wondering, why would Fox fire their number 1 star? Does anybody have any idea?
Yes. Yeah, it's in the papers.
Yeah, well, it turns out that Tucker Carlson had written a text to one of his producers talking about, it can't get any more racist than this, but he was saying there was a fight at the Capitol where these 3 guys were beating up a black man. And he said that that's not the way white men should fight. And he started rooting for the 3 men that were beating up this helpless black guy. And at one point, he says in the text that he started wishing that they would kill him. And then he realized that that's a bad thought to have. But meanwhile, he had already expressed it. And so that is one of the reasons why they fired the guy. So not only is he a racist, but he's a racist, so there you have it. So I hate to say it.
There are a couple other things he's done also that I can't think of right now, but it's more than one. Something else he wrote to a colleague, and then
He wrote something. Yeah, he did. I read.
So there's a movement right now. There's a movement right now against Fox, and it's called Unfox Me. And so basically, the way Fox makes all their money is what they call these carriage fees. And a carriage fee is basically if you have a TV set in your house and you've got Cox, or you've got what's some of the cable companies you guys have?
DirecTV, Dish Network, Spectrum, Comcast.
What do you have up in Seattle, Kurt?
Comcast, Xfinity.
Well, all of these companies pay Fox a fee to be able to put Fox's
broadcast podcasts, news
on those boxes, and that's how they make most of their money. So even if you don't watch Fox, you're still paying for it. So there is a website called unfoxmycablebox.com. It's just the way it sounds, unfoxmycablebox.com. And basically, if you go there, you could sign up and they will contact your cable company on your behalf to see if they can get that money deducted from your bill. So there you go. It's only $3, but it's something that you might want to look into. So one of the things the cable company is going to be running this weekend is the King Charles's coronation. Who's planning on watching that?
I am. I attended a BBC Zoom call this week. I tell you what, it is the world's largest deployment of 5G that they're doing this on. It is incredible what they're doing for this. It's the BBC is pulling out all the stops. It's going to be technically brilliant.
Really?
Yep. It's about the largest 5G deployment within 10 square miles. There's going to be more 5G there than on the rest of the planet. God help the
that's going to
aircraft
be
that
cool.
are flying.
Anyway, I threw a link in the chat because I found this article after I had sent the text notes to Tina, but it's CNN, I believe, and it's everything you want to possibly know about the coronation is in that. So if you're interested in watching it and you want to know more about the knick-knack, little tiny nit things about it, that is something that you can watch. So speaking about older than dirt, which is amazing that because the last ceremony was 7 decades ago with Queen Elizabeth, 7 decades. So we have never seen a coronation of the King of England, and so we will be seeing that for the first time.
I saw the Queen of England. I was a kid, but I saw it black and white TV.
Really, I met the Queen of England, but I never got to shake her hand or anything like that. But I was a few feet away from her when she came to visit Los Angeles, and I was the performing arts director of the City of Los Angeles Street Scene Festival, because one of the other things that we did other than the street scene were other events, and one of the events that was when she came to visit Los Angeles. So I was involved in that, and I got to, I was close enough to throw a rock at her if I would have, but I didn't, But, she was a small little lady, very nice. Seemed like
Jan,
very nice.
I got a question for you, Jan. Are you talking about when she did the thing at 20th Century Fox?
Say that one more time.
When she was at Fox, the big luncheon that she had, was that something that you did?
No, I did it on the steps of City Hall when she was visiting the mayor.
Oh, I did it.
Did she have lunch at the luncheon at Fox during the same time?
Yeah, it was the same trip, and they took the set. MASH had just finished their series, so they had that soundstage empty. So they turned it into English countryside. They lined all the walls with paintings of trees, and then they brought in real trees in front of it, and they had a raised dais that had nothing but English experts. It had Rod Stewart and Elton John and Jane Seymour and all these English people who were living in the U.S., and they had her. And then down on the floor were all the Hollywood celebrities who never go out. Lucille Ball and Tallulah Bankhead and Betty Davis and all of these people came for this luncheon, and she had requested the entertainment. She requested Perry Como, Frank Sinatra, who was it? George Burns, and Dionne Warwick. And I was working with Dionne Warwick. And we were in Reno. We closed the show in Reno for 2 days and went down to LA, and she performed in that. And it was pretty awesome to see all of Hollywood out to meet. It was Nancy Reagan's luncheon for the Queen. Ronnie Reagan wasn't there. So it was pretty cool.
Very cool. So there are 2 people in the room that were close enough to the Queen to say that they met them.
I was on the other side of the soundstage. You were closer.
The Royal Highness. Well, there you go.
That was too far from
I wonder what they serve for food. I wonder if they've served. Well, of course, they couldn't have served this, but I guess if they would have had it then, she probably wanted to have a bowl of the new Kit Kat cereal. Have you guys heard about this? Kit Kat just came out with the cereal. I mean, I can't imagine anything worse for you than eating a chocolate bar cereal.
Well, Kit Kat has some interesting marketing in Japan. You know, in Japan, you can buy green tea Kit Kats.
You can buy wasabi Kit Kat.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
They are. That is pretty interesting. But to have a cereal for kids, I can't imagine that that's going to be good for you. It'll be sweet. It'll be delicious.
Yeah, Kit Kat.
Right up there with. But I was just going to say it's probably right up there, equivalent to Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Kit Kat is the most popular candy bar in the world.
Wow.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're here. Walk into the 7-Eleven and they've got like displays everywhere in the store. 2 or 3 displays of Kit Kat. You know.
And internationally, they're everywhere.
That and M&Ms are very popular as well. You know.
Yeah.
So let's see. We talked about that. Let's see what else. All right. We mentioned artificial intelligence, but did you guys hear that Jeffrey Hinton, who had been called the godfather of AI, confirmed that he left his role at Google last week to speak out about the dangers of the technology that he helped to develop?
Yeah. That's pretty serious.
AI, man. It's like Skynet of Terminator. You know, I mean, what's going to happen when it really gets some power? I mean, and I understand the concept. If you go back to Terminator, they ended up taking over the computer systems of the world because they felt that they could do it better than the humans. And then they realized that the humans were their enemy because the humans were destroying the planet, you know, so go figure.
I was telling you earlier, Jan, that this video friend of mine was sending me some stuff today of ex-presidents. And the thing that I found was there was a lot of reverb or room, like like the audio was recorded in a giant room. Even though it sounded very much like the president of whatever video it was I was watching, you could hear this. I don't know. It just wasn't natural. So they haven't perfected it yet.
No, they haven't. But and here's another interesting thing, that there's a special chip that they need to work with artificial intelligence, and there is such a run on those chips that they are having a hard time. It's almost like a Dante chip. You can't find them anywhere anymore, you know. So it's like it's very, very difficult, and they're having a hard time finding those chips to perfect it. But the reality of artificial intelligence is that it really will. They're saying that it's going to replace workers. I mean, it can replace lawyers. Right now, the artificial intelligence can pass the bar exam. And they're saying that it'll, there are many, many fields that it will replace. They're saying that I don't know what a back office employee is, but they're saying that it's basically going to replace all back office employees. What does that mean?
Data entry clerks, maybe possible, spreadsheet jockeys.
Marketers.
People who don't deal with the public. They're in the back doing work.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe that they'll be able to do entry, you know. But
I just showed you.
But it could be. I mean, I guess somebody's got to get the data into the computer. The computer's not going to be able to get the data itself into the computer. So, and also, we just the last week, what was it? What was it? Drake and The Weeknd. Somebody had put that together with artificial intelligence, and the song was trending like crazy on all the music services. So because Universal, I believe, has the contracts with both The Weeknd and Drake, they were able to crush it in social media. They got it pulled off all of the engines. But the reality is that, like I said, you can't copyright artificial intelligence. So the money that they were making on Spotify, YouTube, whatever, they didn't have to pay anybody.
Yeah.
Did anybody hear that song?
Yeah, it becomes royalty free.
Did anybody hear it? Guess not. Oh well.
I
I
heard
did
it,
not.
but it wasn't anything like, ooh.
Google it. Google it. Google it. That's all I could say. Google it if you want to hear it. I'm sure it's, once it's up on the internet, it's always up on the internet. You can find it somewhere. But maybe not, because basically Elon Musk, he bought Twitter, and then he's having all sorts of challenges up with Twitter. But check this out. Based on what's going on right now, he bought the company for $44 million in October, and right now they're
Billion.
valuing it at $20 billion. He's lost over half the money, and now the guy that invented Twitter is got a new platform out, a Blue Sky, and everybody is thinking about jumping over to Blue Sky as soon as they can perfect it and get it out of beta. Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, I got an invite. I'm in. It's really good.
And so basically, yeah, and that's going to be, I believe, Blue Sky is going to be open source, just like Mastodon. But Mastodon's a little difficult to. I have a Mastodon account, but it's a little difficult to understand. Anyway,
But it's really good. It's far better than Twitter, and I don't know. They're not worried about making money because, well, they don't need to.
well, if it's open source, then nobody's making money. Or it's very limited. It's just basically the people who are supporting it are, like the mega donors give money, and that's how the people who. But the guy, I forgot the guy's name, who started Blue Sky, but he's the same guy that founded Twitter. Jack, I think, is his name. So, anybody know? No? Oh well. Anyway, I don't feel sorry for Elon Musk. What were you
Jack
saying
Dorsey.
now? What happened with the rocket ship, Greg?
It was Jack Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey, that's his name.
Yeah. Pardon? You mean the Falcon Heavy?
Yeah, what happened? What happened in Florida with the rocket ship that Elon Musk blew up?
Oh no, that was out of Boca Chica, Texas.
And what's going on with that?
Well, yeah, that thing has. I mean, it's a massive undertaking that is. And on the first stage, I think it had 36 engines, and 8 of them didn't fire correctly. So by the time it was going to go up and separate, it was way out of kilter, and they had to say, hit the red button and blow it up. I think they said what they called it was unscheduled rapid disassembly of the Falcon Heavy. So, but the bad thing about it is, the thing was so big, they're now being sued by all sorts of agencies because the debris fell down on a protected I don't know exactly what it was, but it was protected area of the Gulf of Mexico. So the FAA is
the
now
environmentalists are jumping in. Also, I heard it left a crater, like a crater where it took off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's a big thing. It's the largest rocket ever. It was amazing that it actually took off, is what I'm saying. It's an incredible. What they're doing is next stage stuff, in my opinion. But
it's crazy what they can do, what NASA could do. Yeah, are you familiar with the James Webb Telescope out there? Well, they've just discovered a planet that's only 20, it's close by, and now they know it's got a water vapor atmosphere, and it's possible that it could maintain life. It's only 26 light years away. So if we could figure out how to get up to speed, we could be there in only 26 short years. So that's crazy.
It's probably Jar Jar Binks' home planet. You never know.
I'm just wondering if there's a way to go faster than the speed of light.
I'm sure there's a way. Ask GPT. Ask the AI. That should give you the answer, Jan.
I've got Kurt Hare in the room. He could tell me.
Not with our molecular makeup, we can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like the speed of light is the fastest thing there is. I mean, Superman's not even that fast. He can only go at the speed of a bullet, which is not all that fast.
No, he can go faster than a speeding bullet.
Oh, he can faster than a speeding bullet. That's it. There you go. And speaking of, I guess let's not speak of that, but let's talk about. Did you know right now that there are 2 million species believed to exist in the Earth's ocean, but only 240,000 have been described by scientists, according to the Ocean Census? That's a lot. 240. Every time I put 1 foot in the water. Every time I put 1 foot in the water in the ocean, I always feel like I'm part of the food chain. Do you guys feel that way?
Well, it doesn't have to be the ocean. You could be part of the food chain in downtown LA,
Food train or food truck, that's it,
How did they get all those creatures to answer the census?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess, maybe seahorse. The seahorse carried the mail for them, but whatever.
It was ChatGPT.
Oh, okay. The seahorse.
There you go. They figured that out, right? Right. They got that together. Hey, so basically we got a couple of unfortunate things that happened this week. I believe that Harry Belafonte and Gordon Lightfoot left us. Deo. I mean, talk about an iconic song. You work with Gordon Lightfoot, right, Greg?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. He played at the Veterans Memorial in Columbus, Ohio, and at that time I owned a regional sound company. Oh, you'll love this, Kurt. It was Community Light and Sound, PA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and I had a Mavis desk and a Guelph desk out front. So, but he was really good. He was a really nice guy. So
And Charlie Morgan up here got his start being Gordon's front of house guy and built a whole Northwest Sound rig all for Gordon. He was his touring guy for quite a long time, actually.
Yeah.
When he was at the top of the charts.
Yep. Yeah. There were some really good engineers that come out of there too. Bill Philpott, he did so many good Canadian engineers. But yeah, no, I never did work with Mr. Belafonte though. He was a little bit, he wasn't touring that much when I was, when I was in the day, when I started, put it that way. And I was 72. So.
Yeah, he'd already kind of switched to advocacy and stuff by then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so may they rest in peace for sure. And they definitely brought a lot of. Gordon Lightfoot, really good voice, great songwriter. He'll be missed for sure.
Who else? Bachman, Randy Bachman.
Yeah.
They always.
What about Randy Bachman? That was from the Bachman Turner Overdrive, right?
He died too.
He died too this week. Wow, so sad. So sad. Well, nobody lives forever. That's
BTO is arguably one of my least favorite bands ever.
Yeah.
And it's in poor taste after he died, but you know what BTO stands for, right?
I thought it stood for Bachman Turner Overdrive, but I guess I was wrong.
Better turn it off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think they only had one hit, right?
Yeah. Taking care of business, which makes me. That's why I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. Sorry. Shouldn't speak ill of dead.
No Taylor Swift there. No prolific songwriting like Ed Sheeran. None of that going on there. But anyway,
Yeah,
Moving
speaking of Ed
along.
Sheeran, did you see today he announced that if he loses this lawsuit that he's in, he's just gonna stop touring. That's it. He said, "I'm done." You know, so that's kind of interesting.
That
So
was
Is
very
he going to
bad.
stop touring or stop putting out new music?
both. He said, "That's it. I'm out of the music business."
I find it hard to believe because he just announced a theater tour just the other day, where he's going to play really small venues.
Right. But maybe the lawsuit isn't going that good. I don't know. You know, for him.
Well, you know, the
Or
reality
maybe
is
it's just
that
frustrating, when you have people just suing you when you know that you didn't copy that song from anybody. You're just being creative. It probably just is frustrating. Plus, he's always been. He seems like he's just very tired of the music industry, anyways.
So what is the
everyone's
backstory?
getting sued these days in the music industry. It seems like, if you have some success, people want some of that from you, and if they feel they have any reason at all to sue you for whatever reason, they're going to sue you. I mean, some of them are frivolous lawsuits. Some have some merit. I mean, but the reality today, people are sampling a lot of music. I mean, I listen to the radio and I hear a lot of familiar riffs in songs that are newer than the riffs that I remember. I mean, like, for example, and I'll give her some credit right now. Doja Cat has a song out that is very similar. It actually won the Song of the Year, I believe, last year, where it has some outtakes from that song, Physical, that Olivia Newton-John made. But before they did it, they bought the rights to the snippet from the guy that wrote it, who happens to be a friend of mine, and he's made hundreds of thousands of dollars off of that. So
Yep. Gary Newman, remember, Here in My Car, dun, dun. Last year he was in the UK, he was named the most sampled artist in the world, and he's making money hand over foot. He says, I don't have to tour again ever.
what kind of song? What songs have he written? What songs did he have?
Remember, his big hit was "Here in My Car," dun 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 dun. It was all
What was that 80s pop? Yeah.
Synth pop.
Yeah, synth pop. Yeah, that's it.
Did him once at a show up here, actually, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tons
by the
of
way,
samples.
just an FYI, Google search. If you go to Google search on your phone, both the iPhone or, Android or whatever, and you go to your Google search and you hit the microphone button, if you'll see on the bottom, it'll say search songs. I don't know if you could see that. I'll right down there, search songs. You see it over there?
Okay.
Anyway, basically what it will do, you can just hum the song and it's phenomenal. Absolutely, in figuring out songs. So Google, if you do a Google search and you just can hum it, la 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 da da da, and it's very accurate, extremely accurate, better than SoundHound or Shazam.
I was going to say that they must have bought Shazam, right? Because they were the first ones.
Well, Shazam was bought by Apple, and I think SoundHound, I don't know what happened to SoundHound, but it's now incorporated in the Google search, and it's very, very efficient. I mean, really efficient. I was very impressed with how it gives you, how it picks up the song, and it will give you really inane little bits of songs of artists that have written the song than you even knew about, So like I did a song that was written by Harry Nilsson, Without You, and I didn't realize how many people have recorded that song until I hummed it into the Google thing, and they came back with bands and acts I had never heard of that have done it. So it's really efficient. If you've never tried it, try it. Speaking of efficient and what's going on and food, Kurt, you're in the room. CNN just did a take on the best cities in the world to eat. And believe it or not, Thailand came in at number, what is it, coming in number 7? No, number 8. Thailand came in at number 8. And they say the highlight of Thai food is Tom Yam Kong, which is basically lemongrass, earthy gangal. It's a chili. It's basically Thai chili. And masaman, which is a Thai curry with Islamic roots, which is more of a food from India, really delicious. And samtam, which my girlfriend eats all the time, which is a green papaya salad, which is very difficult for me to eat. But anyway, and the number 1 city in the world for food, according to CNN. Anybody want to take a guess?
Paris?
Memphis.
Nope. Paris was in there though. France was number 3. The United
Orleans.
States was number 10.
Budapest.
No, they didn't even hit the list. Japan was number 5. Spain was number 4. China, believe it or not, was number 2. But according to CNN, the best city in the world to eat in is Italy.
Well, that's a country, not a city.
Oh, well, yeah, the city, I don't even know.
Oh.
All right, you're right. You got me. So I'll throw that. Tina, do you have that link? I don't know if you have that link, but I do. So I'm going to throw the link in the chat about the food, so you guys could see what cities they are. But
It's Rome.
It's Rome, really? Rather than Naples? Oh my goodness. Or Florence?
Mm.
Mm.
Well,
Or
Florida
Milan?
didn't make it,
Or-
believe it or
or
not. No
Venice?
city in Florida was on that list. But Greg,
Yeah.
what's going on with this seaweed?
Oh man, if you're on the east coast of Florida, I mean, the things that the amount of seaweed that's coming this way, it's sargassum seaweed. Currently, right now, they say it's growing, and it's about the size of the state of Rhode Island right now. And they expect by the time it gets into the Gulf, we'll see it on the west coast of Florida probably in July. But the East Coast, like if you go to Daytona Beach or any of those beaches, it's just piled up. It's, and then it decays in the sun and smells like rotten eggs. But
What can they do to get rid of it? There's nothing they could do to destroy it?
No,
it's very beneficial for the ocean, actually. So it just sucks when it comes up on the beaches.
They say it's starting to pile up on the beaches right now. I saw some pictures about in South Florida, Mexico, the Caribbean.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's 5,000 miles long.
Yeah.
wow,
It's
that's a
huge.
long. That's bigger than the United States. It's from coast to coast.
That's exactly right. It's bigger than the
Florida.
United States.
It's just Florida being punished by God for having Ron DeSantis.
Yep, that's right. I think Mickey Mouse had something to do with it. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
There you go.
Oh,
You know, I don't know why he decided to pick a fight with the mouse. The reality is that's a losing battle because everybody loves Disneyland. Everybody, I mean, anytime a sports team wins, the commercial is, guess where we're going? Disneyland. We're
Yeah.
going to Disneyland.
yeah, they're
Everybody
not
loves-
saying, "Hey, I'm going to the White House." No, I'm going to Disney World or Disneyland. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but Disneyland, I hear, is now going to put in a theme prison. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, there's all sorts of memes coming out there, and Goofy walking around in an orange Florida Departments of Corrections jersey, hugging little kids,
That's funny. That's funny. All right. So anyway, what else is going on in the world? Do you guys know what a vampire straw is?
Yeah.
So
It's
a guy got his taken away. He was traveling. He was from Boston. He was traveling, and the FA, what is it? The FAA, the TSA, they confiscated his vampire straw, and basically, it's designed to, I guess it's a weapon, but it's really a straw disguised as a weapon.
Yeah, with a sharp point.
And they're like $70. I don't know. I mean, you could buy, straws are free, you can get a metal straw for like nothing, these days, So, anyway, just thought I'd bring that up. And speaking of public health,
they're made of titanium.
is that what it is? That's why they're so expensive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
By the way,
I
speaking of
can't
public
tell you-
health,
I was just going to say, Jen, I can't tell you the number of times I screwed up and left my gig tools in my carry-on bag and lost them at TSA at least 30 times, 40 times at least.
yeah. I was just traveling. I was flying from Bangkok to Phuket, and I had my little penknife, which is my Swiss Army penknife, which I love, and it's really tiny and small. It's got two blades. It's got one blade and a nail file, and then it's got a pen and a toothpick. And I realized I had it with me, and I had to give it away to somebody, at the airport, because I was afraid to go through immigration or through security with it, because I figured because I was a foreigner, I didn't want any trouble whatsoever. So I gave it away to somebody at one of the executive clubs that worked there. And really, it was a bummer. I hated it, man. I'll tell you, it's every time I even think about flying, I curse Osama bin Laden. I curse him. He basically one guy ruined flying for everybody forever, man.
But now though, it's the new Karens and the Kens that are, a week doesn't go by where you read a story where somebody hit a flight attendant or tried to open up the door,
Well, the video on the news last week, that was incredible.
Yeah.
The guy punched a flight attendant and then opened up the door. I mean, where is this world coming to?
Yeah.
Where was this?
It was on a Frontier flight.
Frontier Airlines.
Yeah.
Wow. And he just wanted to get off the plane that fast? Or was this in midair?
No, it wasn't in midair. It was on the ground. But
that's crazy. What's wrong with
they asked him to change seats or something.
I mean, that's crazy. It's absolutely insane that could happen. I mean, you would think about it. I mean, I just saw a YouTube video where this woman was wearing something that was offending everybody. And so the pilot came out and said, you got to take that off, or I didn't get to
cover up for, yeah.
Whatever it was. And then the pilot said, listen, I'm going to give you a choice. You could either take that off and be safe, or, well, you could leave the plane. Those are your two choices. And the woman said to the pilot, well, who are you to tell me that? And the guy said, I'm the pilot. I'm the captain of this ship. I create the rules. He said, well, where is it written? He says, I just told you that I think it's not safe. Now you have two choices, and I'm not going to tell you again. What do you want to do? But you see these videos of these guys fighting with other passengers for no reason. I mean, the one that really stands out in my mind is this guy was sitting in first class, right? And he wanted a drink, and they wouldn't give him a drink because they were too busy. And he got into a huge fight with the flight attendant, and so the marshals came and dragged him off the plane. And there he is, he was crying. He had lost a shoe, and now he's banned from flying. It's like crazy.
Well,
That's what alcohol will do for you.
Yep.
Not like airline drinks are that good anyway.
Yeah.
Do they still serve them in the little bottles?
No.
Yeah, they do.
It
Oh,
depends.
they do?
It
Oh, yeah.
depends.
Depends on what you order. I mean, and it depends on how busy they are. Sometimes
Yeah.
most of the time they'll mix it for you. But I have ordered like a rum and Coke, and they'll give me a rum and Coke. Here, you do it
Oh.
yourself.
Yeah, I
You know
remember
what's
when,
really bothering me right now, speaking of the little bottles? I don't know if they're doing this in the United States because I haven't been in a hotel in the United States in a while, but you guys have, so you'll tell me. So now when we go into the hotels like the Marriott or any of the major hotels or even the little hotels now, they no longer give you the amenity bottles of the shampoo and the soap and all that stuff. Now they have them, now they have these big dispensers on the wall.
Yeah, it's gone European. That's the European way, or at least that's what when I was with Showtime and they took me to Europe when I was following Tyson around. That was where I saw that stuff. Was they have the 3 canisters on the wall? You had body wash and shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah,
All the
yeah,
hotels
and
are going
and
that
it's
way.
like I used to have a big collection of that stuff, and now it's going to be valuable. Except I don't know what happened to it, you know.
They go bad after a couple of years.
Anyway, speaking.
I used to collect hotel room keys. That's what, when they would give you the key, I never turned the key back in because they're, especially in Europe, they had massive, beautiful keys. And I had a spot in my road case. That's where all my keys were. I had them in like 4 ammo safes. And I've lost them over the years.
Well, now you couldn't have them anyway because of the weight restrictions of the suitcase.
Yeah. Well, I know it was flying cargo, so I don't care.
You didn't make any cool sound panels out of them or something, Greg?
Yeah, that would have been great, but I don't know. Moving here to Florida somehow they didn't make it.
Could have put him in
yeah.
in the spokes of his bicycle.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I had keys to every single room at Swingo's, in Cleveland, which was at that time that was the hotel to be in Cleveland, and every single room. It was great.
So back in the 70s, I was on the road with Mandrill, and we went over to Morocco to do a festival. And the room keys were just like you said, really fancy stuff. They came out and wouldn't let the bus leave until I got every key back from.
Yeah.
Yeah, like charging you for the pillows and stuff like that you would take, or the robes you'd steal from the room, the towels. Now the towels are basically not worth taking. They've come to that realization, Anyway, the other thing is going on. Another thing that's going away right now is the free COVID test as of May 11th. So if you want to get any free COVID tests in the United States, you need to order them right now. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get them for free anymore. So they'll give you up to 4 free kits delivered to your home. So just an FYI, that stops on May 11th. So if you're thinking about getting it, Anyway,
Yep.
The last story that I have is Adidas shareholders have filed a class action lawsuit against Adidas for failing to warn investors about their extreme behavior exhibited by the rapper formerly known as Kanye West before their partnership ended. And so now the company said in February it was expected to lose $1.3 billion in revenue this year because it was unable to sell the designer shoes that, and now he calls himself Ye. And yet Ye was a billionaire. So Tina, I remember we were talking about this and you say he wouldn't be affected much. Well, he was a billionaire last year and today he's only worth 500 million. So I really feel sorry for him. That's a basic story there. So, what can I tell you? Anybody have any comments on that story?
Sometimes crazy doesn't pay.
Yep. That's right.
When did he change his name again?
Well, he should probably change it immediately, if not sooner, Last, I guess, I said that was the last, but I got one more. Mojave Max. You guys know who Mojave Max is? He's a tortoise that lives. He's like 100 years old or 900 years old or whatever. Anyway, he's like Puxatawny Phil, but he lives in Las Vegas. And he came out of his hole, so it means that there will be a summer this year. And so he's pretty cute. He's a pretty big tortoise, but he's, what a tortoise he is. And so Mojave Max, he's out and alive right now, and he's there at Springs Preserve if you want to go visit him. By the way, what's going on in Vegas? Anybody? It's just growing and growing and growing.
I was going to ask Tina that. Have you been to the Sphere yet?
No, I've been by it, but I haven't been in it.
I don't think it's open yet. It doesn't
I
open.
don't think it, yeah.
It opens this week, doesn't it? I thought it was the first week of May.
Yeah,
I think they're behind
they
schedule.
were selling tickets.
I think they're behind schedule.
Yeah, their deadline is the Formula One, right?
Yes. And I think they got the U2 concerts are going in there as well, but I don't remember the dates on that. We could look that up. We could have that information for you next year. Anyway, that's all the information to share. Anybody have anything else they want to share before we say goodbye to the social media public?
How long before Vegas gets the Golden State Warriors and just completes the trifecta of stealing Oakland football or sports teams?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
can
just
you believe it? The A's are going to Las Vegas. Now, what are they going to do for the games in the summer? I mean, how could they play in 110, 120 degree heat?
They'll build a dome.
well, the other team, the minor league team plays in the heat, but their ballpark is in Las Vegas, and they said that the A's will probably, if they can't do a temporary lease with Oakland prior to their stadium their ballpark being built, that they may possibly play there for now.
They can't play in the football place. I mean, they did that here. The Mariners and the Seahawks both played in the Kingdom. They had to completely change the turf every time, but
No, they're not going to play in the Legion. They're going to play at the ballpark.
I would imagine they could do it at the Legion because that place is huge.
They're not going to do it at Allegiant. It was already announced. Allegiant's not going to change everything for the baseball because it's dirt and stuff. They're going to play at the ballpark in Summerlin if they do play here.
plus it'll be too booked once Golden State Warriors move there to be able to handle all three teams.
Oh, if Golden State comes here, no, but Golden State already went somewhere. They went to San Francisco. They have their brand new Chase Arena there.
I think the Lakers are going to. I think the Lakers play games in Vegas now, right?
No.
The Lakers don't play at all in Vegas.
No. Lakers and Clippers play at Crypto or whatever it's called these days. It's not Staples anymore.
I thought the Lakers have
Crypto,
played a few
you're right.
games up in Las Vegas.
No, that you're talking about the summer league when they play out here, when all the teams play here in the summer league, but they don't play here. Or when they have special games here prior to the season start every year, the Lakers do play here before the season starts. They play a game here or two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got to say, we've been watching David's commute. He's got a long commute back from that gig.
It was just a lot of traffic. It's 6 o'clock.
Okay.
5 to 6 o'clock. It takes me 25 minutes at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it took me an hour at 6 o'clock at night.
And he's using the back ways and alleys.
Were you working the show or just at the show?
No, I was working it. I was in one of the rooms. And,
Yeah, him and Kenny Newman and a few other David Bivens. Not
Steve
David Bivens.
Richard Bevan and Steve
Richard
Oliver.
Bevan.
Dan Casting was there.
And the show was in the middle of the day on a Wednesday?
Well, yeah, because of it's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, like 7 in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. And on Wednesday, it ends at 1:30, and then they go over at 3 o'clock and get to see a concert. Last year was the Beach Boys, and then at night they had David Foster. This year it's, I think it's Kevin Hart tonight, and it was Diana Ross in the afternoon.
Yeah, Michael Milken's got a ton of money. I believe, he went to jail. I believe he was the guy that invented the junk bond, if I
Mike
remember correctly.
He's building a building right across from the Treasury Department in Washington, D.C. that looks like the Supreme Court building for his foundation. Greek Revival, columns, the whole thing on Pennsylvania Avenue for his foundation. That's how much money there is.
Yeah, I love that Roy. I think his name is Roy Clark. What was the comedian's name who does the Daily Show? Was it Roy Clark? Is that his name?
No.
Anyway, he's a black comedian. He's on he's one of the hosts of the Daily Show, and he was this guest comedian at the big show in Washington where all the politicians come together with all the journalists. I got mental block on the name of that show too.
Are you talking about Trevor Noah?
No, the guy that replaced her, Roy. I think
Roy
his name
Wood
was
Jr.
Roy Wood Jr. He was hilarious. If you haven't seen him, he was really, really hilarious. And he talks about billionaires, how billionaires, they have hobbies of collecting. And he says this guy, Trammell Crow, his action was, he's like crazy that he's collecting Supreme Court judges, and he bought a Supreme Court judge, and it's amazing because there's only 2 black Supreme Court judges, and he has half the inventory now. So I thought it was just really funny. You got to watch it.
Correspondence dinner.
Anyway, all right. If anybody has nothing more to say, or anybody has something more to say, we'll say goodbye to everybody. Does anybody have the last choice, last chance? Boy, I can't even speak correctly anymore. Anybody have anything that they want to say before we say goodbye?
See y'all next week.
All right. See you all next week. It'll be 155 if we're alive. Oh, by the way, remember the King's coronation this week and my birthday. I will be turning 72 on May 7th. Could you believe it? So that's Sunday.
Birthday.
So when you see me next, I will be a year older. What can I tell you? That's
We look forward
that's
to
the way
the
it goes.
Facebook posts.
And we'll be celebrating David's birthday because David's birthday is I always get confused, but I believe it's the 10th, right, David?
So the Tom Source is the 10th. I'm the 9th.
You're the 9th. My cousin's birthday was the 9th as well, but I knew it was somewhere. And Tom Source, yep. So, and they're all alumni of the show. Anyway, happy birthday to everybody who needs to be wished happy birthday. And we'll see you all again next week. Remember, everything you heard today is an opinion. Welcome to our current event show. Today is May 3rd, and you make it happen. Have a really safe and healthy week, and we'll see you again next week. And with that, we are off the air. Bye, everybody.